Those were times. The times are very different now, right? So you guys are doing this stuff. I remember I kind of got to know you through Jebailey.
Yeah.
Right. Jebailey had come to Korea, and I think that was the first time that I had met you. And I guess obviously, you guys are in Florida and do FGC stuff. And what kind of work have you done with CEO? And I know you're doing like all sorts of stuff now, but how did you get started with CEO? And I guess how did you get to know Jebailey and all that stuff?
Oh, so funny story. The first time I ever met Jebailey, it was before the first CEO. So it was back in 2010. Street Fighter 4 was out, and we were at a tournament and some comic shop, and basically, I've never heard of him, never met him before, but near winners finals, I hear somebody bitching and crying, and they're like, "This tournament is bullshit. This is rigged, blah, blah, blah. You guys don't follow any rules here." And then he was telling his buddy, "Hey, pack up my monitor. We're getting out of here, blah, blah, blah." And he was crying because he lost winners finals.
Oh,
so that's how I first met Alex. I don't know if I should say that out loud, but yeah, I was like, man, I was just sitting there in the corner. I'm already out of the bracket. And I'm like, man, who the hell is this bitch? What is the biggest crybaby I've ever met in my life? And and after that, I was like, man, that guy's weird. But somehow we ended up going out to dinner together a few months later with a mutual friend.
Okay.
And it was like, we kind of just talked and met, and it was like a big group of us. And and I was like, I guess the guy's okay. He's kind of full of himself though. And I don't know why. His hairline was already beginning to recede in 2011.
I can tell you guys are really close.
We're
now.
best friends now. Yeah. I love Alex to death.
Oh,
but I will defend him till my last, but I will be the first one to insult him.
I actually have more details about that. So it wasn't just a comic book shop. It was actually a card shop, and the person that he lost to in winners finals was the best player in Tampa, and he was the best player in Orlando. So that was why it was like.
So there's kind of a rivalry going. Yeah, that was actually a deep match.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the salt does originate from somewhere.
Yeah, and it was Jebailey played Balrog, and the other guy played Akuma, and Jebailey hates Akuma.
Yeah. No, I actually played Jebailey's boxer, and he bodied me in Korea. I was playing Ryu, so it's not an OS, but it's a little bit hard. Yeah. He's got a boxer for sure. So I guess when you work with Jebailey, when you work with CEO, I guess that's kind of how you got into doing like tournament stuff on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Obviously, the stuff that you're doing out of the game store was at one level, and you started doing more and more stuff. And I guess was there any kind of breakthrough moment where you realized, oh, okay, like organizing this stuff, this is what I want to keep on doing, and I want to grow this and do more things with this? Is there a moment that you felt that way?
So when I was doing TNS stuff over the years, I was just doing it for fun, right? I'm just like, oh, we keep making it bigger, but we're doing it for fun. We don't have an end goal or whatever at the time. This is all pre-COVID. Mm-hmm. And then 2019 hit, and I guess Jebailey had gone through a few people who had helped him run CEO, and then he didn't have anybody for 2019. And I was, me and him at that point, we were best friends. I'm over his house. We're just hanging out, and he's telling me about it. And I was like, you know what? I'll do it. Again, I've obviously, at that point, I've already grown my event to my personal event, TNS, to a, like a small regional. We had like 600-700 people. It wasn't nothing crazy, but I was like, I got a little bit of experience. I've been to every CEO, and I've commentated here. I help run brackets here, whatever. I'll come through and I'll run the event for you. And and that's how we got started. And that's when I realized I really like doing this thing. This TOing, organizing, managing events kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a very gratifying kind of thing when you can make everything come together. You see all the people getting hype and, coming to the event and, not just having a good time, but there's like kind of a deeper aspect to meeting up with everyone in person, right? And so this is kind of interesting because obviously nowadays online is a huge option, and with Tampa Never Sleeps online, there have been a ton of tournaments you guys have been doing, hosting online, and there's so much activity, and I guess this is kind of another.